Get him out of here.
Breaking news.
Hello and welcome to day 3. Give it up for day 3. Let's ring the bell. What is going on, Jet fans? I am Matt O'Leary, back for another day of a free agency live stream. Excited to get into this one with you guys as we got a couple of news things. I see a bunch, over 137 in here already. I appreciate you guys. Pop it in. Make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already to get in on the chat. We're going to drop the call-in link momentarily. Just want to set the scene for what happened today. We'll get into your chats, your super chats. And again, like I said, we'll drop the call-in link in a second. Just kind of want to go over briefly the news of the day before we do that. First, the most recent thing, cat out of the bag. Thomas Morstead is back with the New York Jets. He signs a 2-year deal worth over $5 million. Just things you absolutely love to see. Thomas Morstead, I can't express enough, truly, how much of an upgrade Thomas Morstead was last year than what Braden Mann was in the 3 years before that. When Braden Mann became healthy again in, what was that, 2021 that they brought Thomas Morstead in? Yeah, I guess so. And he filled in for a few weeks while Morstead was, while Mann, was out. I was like, man, they should just continue to rock with Thomas Morstead. This guy's been good. They release a Mann comes back. Mann punts in 2022. He punted for the Eagles last year, obviously a playoff team. But, man, Morstead was just – he was a weapon last year. And I get it. Like, special teams isn't a sexy thing. But bringing back Greg Zerloin, bringing back Thomas Morstead goes a long way to go to – secure that you're going to have a top 3 special teams unit again like they had last year. I love it. Jack chimes in, tell all the homies we back up. Let's go. See, mood is better today. We are in a much better spot today than, not that long ago. It's been a slow burn here. That's probably a nice way to say it, right? A slow burn for the New York Jets so far. Through free agency. And then in addition to the bringing back Thomas Morstead, you also have a trade. This was my favorite move that Joe Douglas has done so far through free agency. And that's a trade / reunion as the Ravens are sending right tackle Morgan Moses to the Jets as part of a pick swap. The Jets receive Morgan Moses and a 4th round pick, 134th overall, while the Ravens get a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick. So you move back literally 22 spots and give up a 6th round pick for a starting right tackle. And again, this is a guy who's been solid over the last few years. I mean, if you want to pull up some of his metrics over on PFF, he allowed 5 sacks and 24 pressures last year in Baltimore. He's a good run blocker. He 24 and 5 the year prior. Penalties have been solid over the last 4 years. I mean, earlier in his career, penalties were a little bit of an issue for him, but sacks every single year is going to give you 5 or less, which is good. Stabilizes the right tackle. We can talk about, if you guys want as well, how this impacts the Jets draft, depending on what they do at left tackle, where AVT plays. I think, again, keyword think, that this means AVT is going to play right guard. TBD on that, though. And we'll get into the rest of free agency. Oh, and by the way, Mike Williams released. So all things on the table for you guys. If you want to get into it, I'll drop the StreamYard link. Just wanted to, again, kind of set the scene before we get into calls and really start breaking it down. But new league year officially underway. Call in link. Hang on. Dropping it in there. I know Doug from the couch has been waiting for probably 3 hours to call in. I decided to go later today because with the new league year starting at 4, I thought, silly me, I thought we'd get more news at this point, but it was during the day that the Jets were active at that point. It's like clockwork. Look at this. There he is.
You know, I had to be the first one on the street today.
I love it. What's the moves today? What's the feel?
You know, I'm in a good mood. Had a good night's sleep last night. You know, today you get Morgan Moses. You can't really complain.
No, you certainly can't complain about it. My favorite, I mean, I just said it at the start of the show, but I think my favorite move so far in the offseason has been the Morgan Moses trade.
I agree. And it definitely gives you, I was listening to Jake earlier today, it gives you flexibility at 10 now. Like,
yep.
I still think you should go tackle, but you don't have to go tackle if you don't want to at 10 because you clearly address the need at right tackle and you have 4 spots solidified. So if you want to go at 10 at tackle, you can. If you want to move up, if you want to move back, it gives you flexibility now to do more at 10 than when, like, before today, you were really pitch and hold on, okay, you have to take a tackle here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Morgan Moses, like, he's played right tackle his entire career, so I don't think this is someone who could go, like, is going to swap sides on you. But, you know, as you said, I think many were kind of just assuming that, you know, AVT was going to kick out to right tackle, maybe that they would draft one. But as you said, it kind of opens up the possibility. They could still go tackle, like we can't rule that out, but wide receiver and tight end, I think, also becomes a little bit more realistic at Big Ten.
It just gives you, like, you don't feel pigeonholed like you did last year in the draft. Like, oh God, all the tackles are gone or all the guards are gone. We got to go pick Will McDonald now. Now, whether you like, again, people shit on the Will McDonald pick till the end of time. Just because of a hyphen situation. It's just now this year, no matter what Joe does at 10, unless he picks like a defensive tackle, or like a D lineman again, I don't think he'll get slack for what he does at 10 anymore.
No.
Is my thing. And for all the shit that Joe Douglas has gotten in the 5 years he's been in as a GM, which he has now earned, the guy never loses his trade.
No, yeah, the trades have been really good. Still TBD and not, you know, not the best.
Rodgers, yeah, TBD.
Yeah. But the free agency and the draft, questionable. Trades have been, for the most part, very, very good. I think this is a good one. I like it.
I mean, also, if anyone actually believes he's actually going to run with be the VP running mate, they're crazy. He's not going to do it.
I don't think so either.
Also, like, because the guy he's running with has like a 0.0001 chance of winning as an independent third-party president. But also, in the slim chance he did, good chance Aaron Rodgers would become president because Kennedy's in public office doesn't usually end well.
No, not using, you know, past history here, but you're spot on with that one. He's going to come back and go scorched earth on the NFL. He's not leaving to go.
No, yeah. Like, if anyone actually thinks he's serious, they're stupid. But like, in the back of his mind, it's like, in the slim chance he does win, Kennedy in office, those guys always just drop it.
Not chance. Any predictions for anything else that happens today? Any thoughts?
I don't think Mike Williams is going to sign today. He just got released. I think that's going to be like a week or two from now, wherever he signs.
Okay.
So now you're just going to see, I think there's like, okay, today and tomorrow, you're just going to see all the announcements of signings, and then you're going to get into a little lull period because, if I'm wrong, you have the pro days going on too right now. So you're just going to have like a lot of the pro day stuff going on. I think next week you'll see some more of the second tier guys start to sign. This weekend actually is when you'll see people sign more again.
Sounds good to me. Doug, we got some more calls in the queue. I'm going to let you off, but as you know, you can hop back in.
Of course. I won't go anywhere.
There we go. Love it. Thank you, Doug, for checking in. We're going to go from one legend to the next. V-Man is up next. V-Man, how's it going, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. What do you think of the trades and signings so far today?
I think they're great, but the thing that makes me smile the most is to be seeing the shoe on the other foot with New England. I mean, you see the report?
That they're getting used for leverage with Ridley, I'm assuming?
That's the one. Like, you just love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one preying on New England's downfall more than you, I don't think.
No, I don't think there is. And to comment on And to comment on what Doug said already about A-Rod going, it's a stunt done by Bobby Kennedy to try to get attention brought back to his campaign, because after he literally a few months after he announced, everybody forgot that he's even running for public office. Everybody completely forgot, like 2 months after he announced. You look at his polls; they're non-existent. It's just a stunt to gain attention, to try to get up his campaign. It's all. And to comment on this thing is, no third party has even won a state in a presidential election since 1912, and that party had Theodore Roosevelt as its head of ticket.
That's unlike a very unlikely V-man. And like you said, he's coming back. I said already, he's coming back. He's going scorched earth. The Jets just tweeted out a graphic, JETS graphic with Aaron Rodgers in it. In case you needed any more convincing here that he wasn't going to come back and go scorched earth.
Of course not. Like I said, like I told you, it's a stunt. It's a stunt to gain attention.
I'm with you. You got some bottles back there? What are you, your home bar, V-man?
Yeah, this is my home bar. I'm just grabbing up.
What kind of cocktails are you gonna make today?
I'm not grabbing it. I'm just gonna go to beer. Nice,
okay.
Refreshing Medalla Light from Puerto Rico.
A Puerto Rican beer for America's favorite Puerto Rican. Any
no, but yeah, like I said. No, what? Sorry.
I was gonna say before we let you go, any predictions for what else happens today?
I think it's gonna be quiet. Look, you got all the only thing left, the only really big hole left is the wide receiver number 2. So I don't know if they're gonna make a move for that. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think we've seen all the big moves made so far. I think it's gonna quiet down. Then you can wait for the second wave to get him on the cheaper deals, and that's it. And I think maybe you get like a guy like Mike Williams. Maybe we're gonna get some wide receiver that we don't see coming. Maybe it's a trade. I don't know, but I think it's probably gonna be relatively quiet with some small depth signings here and there. And the next big thing we're probably gonna see is when we find out what pick 10 is.
There we go. V-man, I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your beer.
Thanks.
Love it. Up next, we got Andrew calling in. Let's go to Andrew. What's going on, man? How are you? You're muted. I can't hear you.
You got me now?
Gotcha. Coming through. Not too much. Just excited about the Morstead re-signing and the Moses trade. I think it's been a good day so far. How about you?
Not too bad. I'm a little excited about that myself. Can't skip out on the Legatron one too. That was a big one for us. I actually did have a question for you though.
Sure.
With these kind of little signings and stuff, what would be a bigger all-in right now move? Going for a Mike Williams or a T. Higgins, or trading up from 10 to just lock in Joe Alt and really just solidify that last piece on the starting offensive line?
Ooh. I think if you were going to see the Jets trade up, that wouldn't happen until draft day. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. I think there's a world where you could kind of do both in a sense. The T. Higgins trade, I don't think is going to be likely for them because, they can't give up, the first round pick and pick 10 and they don't have a second round pick. So I think signing a Mike Williams, or maybe they swing another mid round pick and pick swap or something for a receiver that we're not even thinking of right now. But I like the idea of a Joe Alt trade up, especially, using the 2025 second round pick in order to get up. If he starts to fall, I think it'd be wise to do that.
What would you pay Mike Williams?
See, it's tough coming off the injury. I think he's probably only going to get like a 1-year deal, maybe like 1 for 10 or less. I don't think he's going to.
Why not go for Odell?
Because he's older and has had additional 2 more surgeries, I think.
True. Very true.
There's risk. I just think that Mike Williams' ceiling is higher at this point.
Yeah, way more upside, and he's way younger.
Yeah, so that's the main difference there. But I wouldn't be surprised if they checked back in on Odell. They were big on him last offseason.
All right, man. Thank you. Have a good show. I'll be watching.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew. We're going to go to Darren next. He's been waiting. Darren, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, Matt.
How are you? What do you think of today?
I'm very well. How are you?
Awesome. Excited about the Moses trade, Morstead signing, hoping for some more news today.
Yeah, like your fellow Ginger that you had on his last call. He called them small signings. We got our special teams back, man. That's huge.
Yeah, they were top 3 unit in the sport last year. Bring back Justin Hardy next. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too. Forgot what I was actually going to say. I just got excited after he went with that. But no, I think we're doing great. We got a right tackle now. We got a guard. Where are we going next?
I feel like wide receiver is the next logical step. They need one, whether it's signing a Mike Williams. Tyler Boyd's been a name I've been keeping an eye on the last couple days. They've added pieces on the defensive line. They've added 2 offensive linemen now. I think wide receiver would be my next logical step here.
Do you really think Boyd's a big step, or you think Mike Williams would be kind of like something that make the fan base go crazy?
Yeah, I think Williams would definitely be the bigger swing. I think Boyd would be more of like a wide receiver 3 with some upside. But of the 2, I think Williams, assuming health, will be one that excites the fan base a little bit more than a Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, I know you joined Jake's show and watch his stuff. Did you see his stuff with Fialco? His I don't know, the guy that looks over these prospects and says whatever. Not prospects, because obviously they're pros.
Yeah, he breaks down film and stuff. I haven't seen his one, but I have seen him on Jake's show before.
Yeah, he said that Boyd is not very impressive.
Okay,
and he loves Williams. I don't know how to break down film. I don't know if you do or not. I like to watch these guys and be like, oh yeah, these guys are good.
Yeah, they're a little bit different. Williams is more he's an outside contested catch receiver, and Boyd is more of a slot guy. So it's dependent on, I guess, what your preference would be, or the Jets' preference would be, of what kind of receiver they're looking to fill, an outside jump ball threat or a slot guy.
Yeah, but I like that kid. He's 12 years old, and he just breaks down film like it's he's out of his mind, and he's really good at it. I'm not killing him. He's fucking awesome. But he is way more into Williams than Boyd. I just want to know your opinion.
Yeah, no, I think Williams is probably, like I said, probably the better, higher ceiling option of the 2. It's just going to be dependent on how much his market is, how much he gets. I think Boyd is more the bargain bin. And so far through free agency, not the trades, but in free agency, it seems like Douglas has been in the bargain bin a little bit more.
My last thing.
Sure.
I don't think anybody's going to be a bargain. I bet they both get over 10.
It's possible. I mean, we saw Darnell Mooney got 13 on 3-year deal, which is nuts, but
yeah, he's garbage. But whatever. I mean, good for him. I mean, good for everybody that makes a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's awesome. Darren, appreciate you joining today. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, have a good one, Matt.
Love it. Let's go to Joe up next. What up?
What's up, Matt? How you doing?
Doing well. What do you think so far today?
So about the Aaron Rodgers vice presidency, I just want to say he's clearly, if he does that, Bobby Kennedy's going to lose Illinois because he owns Chicago, and he won't let them forget that. He'll probably lose New York because we'll all be pissed. So I think we could all relax on that. But the Morgan Moses move is really nice. I like that, and the big reason I like it is I think it really frees us up for the draft, like we've talked about. But I think you got to really go after one more position, and really, I still want that one guy at either left tackle or wide receiver, because it's I don't know if Douglas said this before, but it's the more you fill, the more freedom you can have. The way I look at the draft is Joe Alt, number 1. This is my personal opinion. Joe Alt is the guy. If we can't get him, all 4 of those next receivers, any one of them, and then after that, Bowers, and then any of the other left tackles. In terms of just how much I like all the guys. But if we have to get a tackle, then you're kind of struggling to get a tackle. So I think we're not all the way there yet. I still think we need one that, either fill that spot so we know who the line's going to be, or get a number 2 off the bat. I still think we need one of those filled, because we filled everything else except those 2 big. I know Morgan is a big time, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you for sure. And I think with The moves they've already made on the offensive line, yes, they could use another one. It makes you think that wide receivers up next. They haven't really been busy there yet at all.
Yeah. So would you go for? I mean, we talked about the Williams thing. I don't know who else. I feel like we just talked about Williams and Boyd. Who else is still out there receiver wise? Ridley looks like it's not going to happen. Not going to go for Higgins.
Yeah, so I mean, Jackson in a super chat. So I'm popping that up on the screen. Thanks for the support. It says favorite free agent now outside of Williams. But looking at the wide receivers, Boyd's a name we talked about a ton, but also Curtis Samuel is a name to watch, I think. Marquez Valdez-Scantling with his connection with Rodgers, unfortunately, is going to be a name to watch. The market is dwindling a little bit now,
I think I'm starting to really like the idea if we can sign one of those veteran tackles. Obviously, like between Smith and Bakhtiari, we know the injury history. But with everything we have behind it, I'm really starting to like the idea of if we sign somebody like a Samuel, finding a trade down, picking one of those tackles. But obviously, JD will probably like one of them. For me, all those guys after all are all in that I like it. Let's see what we got kind of territory where if he came in, to me, he's the guy where it's hell yeah, we're good, Yeah, but if we trade down and we could still take one of those guys and then get a second, because I don't think Curtis Samuel's enough as a number 2, but he's a good piece where if you get a second rounder, it's you got a bunch of you got kind of a bunch of threes after Garrett Wilson, which is and then a maybe on a second round or third round wide receiver if you can pick up a second rounder and a trade back. But that's where I'm at with it all.
Yeah, Joe, I appreciate you checking in with us today on free agency. We'll keep you updated.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Love it. Good stuff there. I see Eric in here, but the screen is black. If the camera pops on, we'll toss you in here. Maybe rejoining. Yeah, there we go. Let's toss him up. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. What's your thoughts on today so far?
Interesting that Morgan Moses is back. That made me happy.
Yeah, it made me happy too. He was good with the Jets in 2021. I would have liked to see them keep him. Instead, he goes to the Ravens and has been good there the last 2 years.
Yes. Honestly, it's not a crazy name. He's not a top 5 tackle, but he's good. He's above average, and he's consistent, and that's exactly what we need. So I'm happy with that. I'm scared about our left tackle. Too many people saying Bakhtiari, it's too much. I can't put my faith in him. I've been saying that since day one, just because of injuries and knowing us. So, but honestly, if we get Smith, a left tackle, draft a wide receiver at 10, I'm happy with that. If we trade for a wide receiver, draft a left tackle, I'm happy with that. So,
there's multiple ways, and that's what I think is the cool part about this is now it opens you up where you could either go, we're going to insert whatever tackle in the first round, and we're going to trade or sign, a bigger wide receiver. Or like you said, you get the veteran like Tyron Smith. Bakhtiari scares the crap out of me too, man. I just don't see how he stays healthy after 5 knee surgeries and is 33. But I think you feel a little bit more comfortable if you get Tyron Smith in here, that maybe you could go a different direction for a Brock Bowers or Roma Dunze or whatever draft.
The only not even negative that I can think of is he's a right tackle. So what if Fuaga is obviously a right tackle. So what if Fashawn was taken and Alt is taken? Then that kind of creates a situation where you got to trade down and get one of the other left tackles that you might not be too high on, and obviously Rodgers isn't high on playing with rookies. That's the only thing where it's unless you put AVT at left tackle and get a guard, I don't know. A lot of people aren't fond of that idea. I'd rather have AVT at guard. But I guess worst comes to worst, you could put AVT at left tackle and then get a guard. But
yeah, you could. I mean, I don't think that would be their preference to have him at left tackle. But theoretically, I mean, you mentioned a name like Fuaga. He could play guard the first year, play right guard, and then Moses isn't a long-term solution. So then he could bounce out to right tackle after that. That's a workaround. I'm not saying, it's the most ideal thing, but that would be a way that they could do it.
The good thing is there's a few options. I feel like we were all scared because we needed 3 offensive linemen, we needed a receiver, and now it's kind of like, okay, now we need 1 lineman, 1 wide receiver, and then we could get that through the draft. I feel like it's like, okay, calming down a little bit. I just don't know. People saying OBJ, people saying that, like, these guys are out of their prime.
Yeah, if it was 2019, it's a different conversation here, but it's it's not 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's been a good day. I hope we make more signings, but we'll see.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Eric. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Good stuff. We'll get back to the calls in a second. Just want to do a couple super chats quick in here. Ron Weiss, thank you for your support. Legend Ron says, does this put Bowers back in the conversation? If you add a left tackle in free agency or via trade, I would say yes, it absolutely does. Again, we have to wait and see on it. I don't think as currently constructed right this second that it's a definite they're not going offensive tackle, but the percentages are getting smaller. Before it was like a much bigger look at it was more than likely going to be an offensive lineman in the first round. Now, maybe not as much. And then Jack comes back in and says, I want to just scream Control-Alt-Delete when he pancakes something. That's good. Put that on a t-shirt. If that's the draft pick on night 1 of the NFL draft, Jets move up to get him or however they get him, put Control-Alt-Delete on a t-shirt. I would love it. That would be a stud left tackle. I'm in on it. All right, back to the phone lines. Johnny is up next. Johnny, another new hat. Love it.
Yeah, man. What's going on, bro? Dude, what a day, right? Morgan Moses, welcome back. But I think the biggest signing for us is our guy, the punk god himself, Morstead. Dude, that dude bleeds green, man. He's every Jet fan that's grown up that wants to have somebody that they could idolize almost is him, man. That dude's like a John Hall to me, like a Wayne Corbett, the guys that were the fabric of that damn uniform, and having family there while he signed and everything like that. That stuff means a lot to him, man. So, and he was one of the first dudes that came out and was like, don't believe everything you hear from Hardman and all that, and keeping these people in check. So, but dude, those pancakes that Moses was giving people last year, and he's back with us, dude. It's great, man. I'm excited.
Moses, I was watching a bunch of clips on Twitter. Joe Blewett from Jet X Factor put out a bunch that were really good. So I just found myself scrolling through that throughout the day. They're going to be a dominant team in the run game, I think, with Simpson, that's his strength, the left guard they just signed, and Moses in the run game. So I think they're going to be a power run team this year.
So who do you think we end up going, though? Right? I mean, is it going to be Bach? Is it Smith? At this point, man, I'm happy with whatever. To be honest with you, man, I feel like let's go for another weapon.
Okay.
And then kind of go from there, dude. It's just that was a huge pickup. I think we got depth pieces with Mitchell, Carter Warren, all them other guys back there, Wes Schweister, that, God forbid that these dudes don't ever get hurt, but these guys typically don't get hurt, which is good. Now, our Jet luck, you already know how that goes, but I won't even talk about it or bring it into the into whatever. But I mean, it's awesome, man.
Sure.
What do you think that we're gonna do next? Mike Williams putting stuff out, talking about Jet life.
Yeah, someone found, I think it was NYJ Matt or Mike found a tweet from 2012 where he said MetLife or Jet Life or something like that. He's a master of receipts, so don't try to slip one past him. But that'd be fun. I think that would be a high upside wide receiver too. Obviously, coming off an ACL is a little bit nerve wracking, but the year prior he had, I think it was 800 something yards and a pretty decent amount of touchdowns as well.
Yeah, it's. Hey, at least you're not on at 12 o'clock waiting for nothing. As soon as you get on, start signing people, signing things. So
that's why I waited till later today. That's why I waited till the official start at 4 o'clock. And, we had some stuff already happen. And hopefully while we're live here today, something else breaks for us. That'd be great.
Yeah, I still push for you to do the 48 hours though, man. I think if anybody could do it, it would be you, man.
There we go. No team, no sleep.
I mean, you can sleep. We'll just it's up to
Yeah,
half.
I'll turn the camera over and you just watch. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
People
perfect.
do that. All right, brother. Keep
Thanks,
it up,
Johnny.
man. Man.
Appreciate you. All right, Mr. Bonesy up next. Bonesy, what's going on, man? How are you?
Matty, normally I try to keep it to one show that I call into because I don't want to oversaturate myself. But I see all my regulars calling in, so I said, let me call and say what's up, man.
You gotta hop in.
No,
What do
for
you think?
sure. I'm excited, man. I know we're not done yet, but getting Morgan Moses back, it solidifies the right side. People have to realize that the Ravens' run game and offensive line last year was top 5 in the NFL, and we just got 2 of the 5 of those guys. We're coming. We're going to be maulers. Breece Hall is he's going to be fed that rock, and we're going to not even put that much pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Another thing people have to realize is Aaron Rodgers elevates everybody's game. So the fact that now if we can solidify the offensive line to be a heavy run game team, oh, my God. With you combine Rodgers with that, I mean, I'm excited, and I also the wide receivers, Mike Williams I feel like he's a perfect situation for us if the money's right. JD, he's a little penny pincher a little bit, and he looks for the good deals. But Mike Williams is the perfect guy. He's coming off an ACL, so no one's going to give him crazy money. We can give him a nice 1 year or 2 year with, guaranteed money in the first year. And we have the perfect kind of role player behind him in Lazard to be like his kind of sub when we, if he's coming off the ACL slowly, we have another big body guy that Rodgers is comfortable with. We don't have to depend on Lazard to be our number 2 or 3. He can go to number 4 really and just kind of be like, another big body behind Mike Williams. Because, man, if Mike Williams on the other side of Garrett,
it'd be nice. You got Johnny wants to pop in here and say what's up to you, Bonesy. So I'm gonna pop him back in here for a second.
Bonesy, hey man, we gotta say it at least one time for everybody. Let them know. In JD, we trust. Peace.
Fact, man. I am a known JD panty sniffer, as they call me.
JD panty sniffer.
And look, people were sleeping on Tyler Boyd too. Before Jamar Chase came, he was a solid number 2 with ups. I don't know. I like Tyler Boyd as another option, and Curtis Samuel is still out there, who is someone who could be like a low budget if he stays healthy. Rodgers, because don't forget what Rodgers Mosley said. Jake interviewed Mosley in Indianapolis, and he said that Rodgers when he came in at the end of last year, he was making the practice squad guys look like all pros that have never touched the field. So everyone still hasn't felt that Aaron Rodgers, oomph on the team. And it's coming, fellas. It's coming,
I hope so. I appreciate the call, Bonesy. I like Boyd too. So maybe that's the next play here.
Keep doing your thing, Matt. Love you, brother.
Love you too, Bonesy. Perfect. Good stuff. Let's go Anthony next. Anthony, what's going on, my friend? Uh-oh, did we freeze on me? Is he here? Here we go. What's up, Anthony?
What's up, Matt? Better day today, right?
Yeah, definitely better day today. More active. Love the Fant trade, and that's why I wanted to wait a little bit to go live because I was missing all these signings and moves. Oh, do we got you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. You got me?
Okay, yeah. I was just saying I was excited about the moves today. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we should have never let Morgan Moses walk, but it's good that they're bringing him back. I don't like. I got to be honest. Like, I'm happy they got Moses. I don't really want any of these receivers, Matt. I know I called you the other day and I said this because the receiver market is insane. $13 million for Mooney.
Yeah, that's
craziness, dude. I think the move is. I said this the other day. We got to hope that one of these quarterbacks slips, like J.J. McCarthy or Daniels, and then there's 3 teams behind us: the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Broncos, and they all need quarterback. And what we got to do is call them up and say, whichever one of you wants to give us a 2nd-round pick, you can have the 10th pick, take that guy, and then we draft a receiver because it's a super deep receiver draft, man. just loaded with receivers this draft. I like that better.
Yeah, I like it too. And, if you move back, because you don't have a second round pick right now, if you move back and get a second round pick, like, I don't know, you could take some different swings at that point. It's not just like that one guy you're getting at 10 and then you got to wait again until 72.
Yeah.
You can move back and, attack a couple positions. And as you mentioned, receivers deep.
Just pick swap. You take the 13th pick from the Broncos. They don't have a second round pick, the Broncos, but they're saying they don't want to trade Courtland Sutton. But I think that's what you say when you want to trade somebody, right?
Yeah.
To make the price go up. But
if they get the right price, I think they would move on from him. They're kind of blowing it up out there.
Yep. So I think that's the receiver move. I don't all these receivers, like maybe Curtis Samuel if you get him on the cheap, but I mean, we got it. We got an overpaid receiver making $11 million a year that wants to play soccer. So.
You're not wrong. So yeah, I think they might go maybe on the lower tier then, because you're right. Like you're gonna have to spend money. But I think once the Ridley domino falls, and I think he does end up back in Jacksonville, maybe that gets some of these other receivers moving.
He's gonna get 8. You think he's worth 17 or 18 million a year?
No, I don't know if I would go higher than $17 million a year, but I think he probably gets close to 20.
That's crazy. It's crazy. They don't have the cap for that. But anyway, I just wanted to check in. Much better day. I like Moses. I think what you said, I think somebody said it. They're kind of moving more to like, I don't want to get too technical, but like more of those guys are zone gap players rather than gap run blockers, Simpson and Moses. Rather than the zone nonsense we've been trying to do for 5 years and find like specific linemen, So maybe we get it back to like running the ball, taking the pressure off of Rodgers. That's the best way to protect him. So.
I agree. I'm with you.
And what do you think? Here's another thing, dude. I got in late. What's up with this RFK thing, man? Like, what do you think about this?
He's not gonna. I don't see him bailing at this point. I wish he would come out and just put out a tweet saying I'm playing this year, put an end to this nonsense. But it's going to be a story until he either announces a running mate or until Rodgers says something.
Yeah, I read somebody said that his campaign is just trying to stir up interest. So like Aaron Rodgers gets a lot of clicks, so people are going to look up and say, "Oh, who's RFK?" But who knows? I wish he would come out and be like, "No, we talked about it," but whatever.
No thanks. So. Yeah. All right, Anthony. Good stuff, man.
All right,
I'll catch you later.
Okay, bro.
All right, good stuff there out of Anthony. Back to the super chats we go. Dante, appreciate you. Matt on a live, and I catch it. Yes, keep up the good work. The Moses signing was a good sign again. Yeah, I mean, it was a nice trade. I definitely think it was a good move to bring him in on a relatively cheap deal too. Again, you move back 22 spots. You move back 22 spots in the 4th round. Okay. And you give up a 6th round pick that you got as a compensatory 6th round pick. You just pick swap in the 4th round, and you get a starting caliber right tackle for cheap. It's like $5.5 million this year. And he's above average right tackle. Those guys can go for $15 million a year, somewhere in that range. It's crazy. It's a very good value deal. Vinny says, Matt, what's up, brother? What would you do for a trade? I think he's being underrated. What's up, brother? What would you do for a trade? Let's see. Oh, Mike Williams, I'm talking about. Oh, well, I mean, he was released, so you could just flat out sign him. It would be, I don't think it'd be crazy money to get him in on a 1-year deal, because after a injury like he sustained, I don't know if he's getting a long-term deal or big money. So you have to take a little bit of a risk on him, but out of the options that are left, might be the best move. We got a couple calls. We'll go to Johnny first. Johnny, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's going on, Matt? How you doing?
Doing good. What did you think of the move so far for the Jets today?
I think that they're great, especially Moses coming back. PFF numbers are good. The contract that we got him at, $5.5 million, great. What we gave up was almost minimal for a great above average starting tackle. So I think that was a great move by Douglas. But what I did want to kind of allude to is I think that the next couple things are to kind of break from the Jets camp are going to be a couple restructures. One thing that kind of caught my eye is I did see what DJ Reed just tweeted, and it was kind of cryptic. And I'm thinking that he got paid just based off what he just said.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me pull. Good call. I'm going to pull that up so we can talk about it. He said chestnut checkers at 433. Please tell me that's a contract extension. Sign me up for a contract extension on DJ Reed. I'm guessing you'd feel the same way. You're in on that?
Yeah, based on what he's been tweeting a lot lately. Yesterday he said blessings on blessings, announcement coming soon. That's what he said yesterday, I believe. And
Okay.
then today he said chestnut checkers, and he put a bag right after it. What do they say when they get paid? They get the bag. So that's what I'm thinking. Freeing up more cap space, going after a receiver. Now, trading for Moses kind of solidifies, well, not kind of, but it solidifies the right tackle. And a few callers ago, it said that it kind of can disturb what we do in the draft. So if a left tackle is not there, what's going to happen? So either at this point, we're going all in on a weapon and drafting tackle, or we're going to go all in on tackle and draft a weapon. What do you think, or what scenario do you think plays best based on who's available there, position-wise?
Yeah, so, man, if they're going into it and you specifically need a left tackle, you either have into the draft, you either have to get aggressive and trade up for Joe Alt or hope that Olu Fashanu is there for you, because those are the only two guys at the top who have played left tackle in college. The other ones, like Fuaga and Latham and anyone else in that tier, they're on the right side. They're right tackles, and Morgan Moses played right tackle his whole career. You're not going to move him over to the other side. So I don't know. I think you can make a case maybe on getting a veteran left tackle in here and then going with either Brock Bowers, Roma Dunze, whatever wide receiver or weapon is there for you at pick 10. And I think that would be, exciting to get a young running mate for Garrett Wilson in this offense in the passing attack. So that'd be, I just don't want to put my eggs in the David Bakhtiari basket and be like, okay, we signed Bakhtiari. You don't have to worry about left tackle now. Like, I think that would be a mistake.
Yeah, at this point, if Olu or Alt aren't there, I feel like, and if we actually draft O-line in the first round, I think it's going to be a case of musical chairs again. I think for sure ABT is going to have to play out of position, probably at one of the tackle spots, most likely left tackle, and then you're going to draft maybe JPJ or whoever they go ahead and get if they trade back. But yeah.
There we go. Good stuff, Johnny. Thank you for calling in. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, man.
Love it. Good stuff there. We got Bradley up next. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Howdy. Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. What do you got?
Oh, well, there's something interesting going on. So there's been a guy on Twitter who I've never heard of him before. I assume he's a Giants fan. He has a Giants profile picture, but he has gotten everything right. About noon today, he said how we were calling for trades on the tackle market. 30 minutes later, we make a trade. He's right now very confident in Ridley's going to the Texans. That's not very much Jets news, but that's interesting. He said 90+ million was what they were offering. Jags are getting a chance right now to match it.
What's this guy's name on Twitter?
That I have to look at, actually.
Okay. Oh, we lost him. Bradley. There we go. He's back.
I was checking real quick.
Okay.
See what his name is. Let's see.
Okay. He's going to check the name. We'll see. We'll leave it up there. And while he's checking, I'll pull up the super chat from Dante. I won't lie. I want to avoid injury prone players like Plague. We had enough last season and I'm done. I want durable players that have little to no injury history, maybe unrealistic. Well, the last two offensive line guys they added, Dante, on both the guard they signed and the tackle that they acquired, and Morgan Moses are health guys. They've been on the field. So I think would be good there. But okay, did you get the name?
Yes, I did. It's Pretty Ricky.
Pretty Ricky. Okay. And he's been spot on.
He has. He called out the Brian Burns trade before it happened and the contract exactly. And for New York, it's just that and us being on the tackle market trade wise right before that happened. But it's been a few different things around the league. He's been getting right. And I think after, the Ridley domino falls, that's when we could see movement. So we might have an interesting day finally at free agency, depending what happens there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I think once we finally find out where Calvin Ridley goes, I think that kind of opens up the market for some of these other
Yeah.
receivers and these other teams who are going to be in on the receiver.
Yeah. And I think that, after Moses came here, it's the first time I've been able to see a world where we don't have to go tackle, I guess you could say. Not that I'm against taking tackle at 10. I could see a world where we don't do it at this point, just with depending on who's there. If there's only right tackles there, I want an impact player. So a depth right tackle is not very much of an impact player, I guess you could say.
No, that's true. I do agree, and it's something that I've said for a while now. But I do think that the first round pick, or whatever they go, it has to be someone that's immediately impacting you in 2024. Unfortunately, last year, like drafting Will McDonald at 15, he could be great, but he wasn't an impact on the 2023 Jets, and that was a mistake to go that route. I wanted someone who could come in and contribute right away. So I do agree that whatever you decide, weapon, offensive line, whatever, they got to contribute right away.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Good stuff, Bradley. Thank you for checking in. I'm going to keep an eye out on Pretty Ricky if this guy's calling everything.
All right. You have a good rest of your day.
All right. You too, man. Good stuff. Yeah. Colin pops in, said Heron Ridley is down to the Pats and the Jaguars. Agree. I saw that too in a few different spots. Okay, wait. Is this a... Hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. This popped up while I'm going through and doing the refresh, and the New York Post story comes out, but this is what I see. And it's Aaron Rodgers was in Costa Rica on ayahuasca retreat when RFK Jr. VP News broke via Pat McAfee. This is just, you cannot make this shit up no matter how you slice it. It's just too freaking funny. Doug's back. Not the full hour check-in, but 40 minutes later, check-in.
He's not doing it.
No, he's not doing it. He's gonna quarterback the Jets. He'll run out again with the American flag on the first game, and
you saw that DJ Reed tweet, right?
Yeah, we pulled that up on the screen. That's gotta mean. I feel like that's gotta mean extension.
Like there's a briefcase at the end. Like what else could it mean?
Yeah, I mean that should mean bag, right?
Yeah, I don't pretend I'm apt with technology or apt with lingo, but what else could it be?
No, I again could probably use some help on what some of these tweets mean, but that's, to me, that screams extension, which is a good. I was for that.
We nailed it the other day when we were guessing the Robert Hunt contract. What are we thinking a DJ Reed contract would be?
The DJ Reed contract, I'll go 3 years, 45 million. So 15 a year.
3 years, 42 and a half.
Okay.
With 22 guaranteed. So
okay.
Just over half of it guaranteed.
That sounds right.
So he gets more than whatever it is. I think it's gonna be like slightly over 50% guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely fair. 42 and a half. So like 14.2. Yeah. Between 14 and 16 is like where I think the AAV of the contract
this
comes.
Helps them with their cap, right? If they extend them right.
It does. You get it frees up 7.5 for this year if you do that.
And who knows what they'll do with that $7.5 million.
Hopefully at a receiver.
A running back, I don't know if I mentioned it on your show or Jake's show, a running back I would like is AJ Dillon. Especially because it looks like they're like Nani was saying, it looks like the way they're lining up, they're moving to more of a power scheme.
Yeah.
So then that makes AJ Dillon makes a lot more sense if they're moving to more of a power scheme.
Yeah, at his size, you would think although I was reading somewhere that he wasn't as good in short yardage situations as.
I mean, then if you're a short yardage guy, I mean Zeke is still very valuable in short yardage.
Yeah, I'm not usually big on the has-been running backs who are in their late stage of career, but you're not running Ezekiel Elliott 200 times a season. But if you use red zone packages or on 3rd and 4th and short, I think that's the move.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Zeke is still a good pass blocker, correct?
Unless he just fell off a cliff in New England last year, which I don't think he did. But yeah, I mean that's usually one of his strengths.
So you have him in. Brees is still like your receiving back and your do it all back, but you can replace Zeke, you can place Brees and Zeke on an occasional third down, and then have them in like a second and short situations, those type of situations.
Yeah, I'm not against it, and especially you have the youth in Izzy Abanikanda, and I'd like to see him more this year. I don't think you could just go like, hey, he's our RB2, and like we don't have to worry about it. I think you need like either a veteran depth guy or another swing in the mid rounds, but he's explosive.
He's your home run hitter. If you're like, oh, let's just see if we can break one here, and then you give it to him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And then Zeke, I imagine you wouldn't have to give him more than like $2 million.
No, yeah, it'd be cheap. It'd be very cheap, which I'm okay with. You know, I don't think you have to spend crazy money on on your backup running back.
How excited are you for the black throwback jerseys? I think those are going to be the best jerseys that we go out with in a long time.
Yeah, I'm excited for these new uniforms. I know, like, it kind of like the second after the Super Bowl and the season ends, it's like, hey, new jersey. Like, forget about that. Just amazing timing. But in all seriousness, I am really excited about it. I think it's going to look good. The legacies looked beautiful last year. I'm excited for the green version and the black version. It's going to be good.
I haven't bought a jersey in a while just because, they're not cheap. But
I was going to say, what jersey would you get?
I'd probably get the black legacy jersey. Probably a Sauce Gardner jersey. But the last few times I've gotten a jersey, they're very soon after no longer Jets.
Yeah, I've had that go.
The last one I got was a black, the stealth black Jamal Adams jersey, and that obviously did not end well.
No, okay, yeah, we might have to put you on hiatus for a bit on the jerseys.
That's why I usually buy sweatshirts and like t-shirts or stuff like that.
Well, what about Quinnen? He just signed an extension.
That's true. I have wanted a Sauce jersey. I feel safe with a Quinnen jersey. I feel like I feel like if I got a Rodgers jersey, that might not be good juju though. Based off I don't think he's going to leave, but
yeah, no, you don't want to put that out in the world.
No, Brees might be a safe one. I'm going to wait till Garrett Wilson officially switches to 5. Then maybe I'll get a 5 Garrett Wilson jersey.
That's what I was going to do. Either the green, whatever the green looks like, or the black Garrett Wilson 5.
My question: what does Morstead wear this year?
Good question. I think in his first stint with the Jets, he wore 4. Obviously, can't wear 4 with DJ Reed here now. I don't know.
Let's give him a weird number. Let's give him like 72. Oh, that's my opinions, but let's give him like punters can wear any number, right?
I believe so. 99. Let's give him like 99.
But that's not. I want like 63. Just give him an obscure number that makes no sense. Like, why'd you wear this number? I don't know. Just picked it out of a hat.
I picked one. Oh boy. Yeah, that'd be funny. I'm trying to like going through my head of like numbers that would be available in the single digits or
double. He sucks, but Chad Ryland wears 37, so that's a random ass number for a kicker.
Yeah, that is. I'm gonna be old man yells at cloud. I don't really like the new number thing. I kind of like it the old school where you.
Okay, so then maybe 2's not available. That's Tyrod. He could wear number 1. No, that's Sauce.
Tigo talking Jets to Tigo says who wears 6. That was the number he wore in New Orleans.
There you go. He could wear 6.
Jordan Whitehead was 6, right? Or did he 3?
I think it was Mecole Hardman who wore 6.
Oh yeah, you might be right. 6. There we go. You could be 6.
We did it. Thank you, T. We did
it. We figured it out.
We did it. That was the biggest news of the day. We figured out right.
2 will be available.
No, it'll be Tyrod.
Yeah, it will be Tyrod. It's gonna the aura of number 2 is gonna be so much better now.
I'm so happy. I'm never gonna have to hear from Utah people again.
You're telling me? Are you kidding me?
Have you ever seen like those TikTok videos? It's like the guy interviewing students at BYU. What a group of people!
Yeah, the BYU and Liberty college interviews are next level.
Electric. Yeah. I think BYU ones are funnier because just Liberty ones like you have the strict guidelines, but the BYU one those are just like their life choices.
Yeah, really. Will you shake the bed for your friend if they are? You know what? Like no, never, no.
Or what's your favorite party? What's your favorite party drink? And they say like fruit punch.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Sorry,
we're going off the rails here though. Doug, appreciate it as always. We'll get you. I'm feeling a Jets news story.
I do have plans tonight, so I'll check it one more time before I leave to go out tonight.
All right, I'll allow it. All right, see you later, Doug. Good stuff. We got I guess we'll do a breaking news sounder for this.
Breaking news.
Titans sign a new backup quarterback. Here we go. Tennessee Titans have agreed to terms with former Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph on a 1-year deal up to $3.62 million. After 6 seasons with the Steelers that ended on a high note with solid play down the stretch, Rudolph gets a fresh start in Tennessee. I mean, that's kind of, I would think that's a sought-after backup job because, like, I don't know, Will Levis is obviously going to start, but are we sure that Will Levis is the answer? It's kind of like last year what the Falcons did with Ritter and what the Commanders did with Howell. And they're like, we have these mid-round quarterbacks that we're going to see if they're the guys. And then they ended up not being the guys. Although Howell played most of the year. I guess he did get benched technically for Jacoby at a couple points. So Mason Rudolph might be able to play down there. Let's do Mike D's life, or Mike D's nuts. If you are a Talking Jets listener from last night, you know. If you know, you know. Much better day for us. My sons bought me a Sauce Legacy jersey. Think I'm going Garrett Wilson next for a jersey. Keep them coming, Matt. Mike D's life, I appreciate you. It's been fun doing this the last 3 days. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you guys, refreshing. It's what I was going to be doing anyway. We're all just kind of going to be, sitting on our phones, doing a quick refresh. I do agree with you, though, that Garrett is going to be the next move, I think. All right, we're getting some more Cryptic Jets tweets as Jermaine Johnson tweets out the smirking emoji. This, I'm going to call it now. This absolutely, to me, means that DJ Reed signed an extension. It has to be. Reed tweets out the bag. Jermaine Johnson, who's on that defense, he's smiling. Did anybody else tweet? Did we get any new tweets in here? Something's amok. Someone dropped the news. By the way, as we're scrolling, Blake Cashman getting a bag in free agency from the Vikings was something that I did not have on my bingo card. Not, he's been good the last couple of years, but if you told me that in 2020, that Blake Cashman was going to get, pretty sizable free agency deal, man, good for him. Injuries were a huge part of his game, man. That was a big thing that held him back, unfortunately, during his time with the Jets. He was very, very injured. But on the field, mostly in the preseason, he looked good. Sean says, Matt, what do you do for work, bro? This mostly. But I do YouTube. I have a couple other side jobs as well. I do video for and editing for a digital publication on Long Island, Greater Long Island. I have an Islanders podcast. I do the Talking Jets show. So we got a few things going on. I'm always doing something. I'm always the guy with multiple jobs too. Since college, I've been doing either content part-time, going to school full-time and working part-time, and then working full-time, teaching and doing content, and then writing in the sports betting world and doing content on the side. And then over the last year and a half, it's been content full-time. NYJ Matt apparently had a good tweet. Let's see. Let's pull it up. He's not wrong. The emojis should be banned during free agency. It should. I don't like the smirking emoji or the eyeball or the money sign or the eyes with the money. Vinster, here we go. Jets signed Jason Morrow, 5 years, $100 million. We are so back. Okay, full admission. After his rookie season, I was a Jason Morrow guy. I was like, this is it. Jets found their tight end. Oh, this is interesting. We have, I guess we can classify this as breaking news. I'll classify it as breaking news.
Breaking news.
We got Rich Samini saying, now official, the Jets released CJ Uzomah with a failed physical designation. Okay. I'm not necessarily sure the difference on the two, but Uzomah we knew was going to get released, but with a failed physical designation was not necessarily what I was expecting to see. You were a teacher? Yes. Well, a professor, technically. Weird. Again, I told you, it was just very weird. So I went to college for broadcasting and journalism, and I was running the radio station as the student worker. And then when I was set to graduate the semester before, they were building a brand new state-of-the-art radio station, and they needed someone to run it and operate it full time. So I did that for 3 years, but shortly after, like 3 months after I graduated, the guy who was an adjunct professor and like the head guy was very sick with cancer, and unfortunately ended up having to leave his job teaching mid-semester. So they're like, shit, what do we do? I guess we'll put Matt in there. And then after I've closed out the semester, they're like, we want you to do a radio class and teach like just basically how to run the equipment and do a show with them. So that was fun. It was a really fun job. I did enjoy doing that for a few years, but I knew I always wanted to get into digital media. And then, it just eventually got to a point where I was able to make the jump to doing this more full time. And again, I do still some side stuff as well, but it's fun. I love it. Next super chat is Will Shea. What's going on, Will Shea? Hey, Matt, hyped about Moses. UVA alum, my alma mater. Now, what do you prefer? Sign Tyron, draft Odunze or Bowers, or Bakhtiari, Boyd, Williams, and draft the offensive line? Ooh. Tyron, I think with the weapon might be the route. I think that's the route they're probably going to go. I'm going to avoid the Bakhtiari route in any way. But if it's with a rookie, can I say that they're definitely going to get Olu or get aggressive for Joe Alt? Because if they can get aggressive for Joe Alt, let's say, and have Bakhtiari as a backup and get Boyd or Williams, then I think that's my preferred route. So if we could do it, if I could have the second part guaranteeing that it's going to be either one of Olu or trading up for Joe Alt with Bakhtiari as a backup, then yes. If it's Bakhtiari having to start, then I would say no. I would say the first one in that case. Me too. Mr. Bonesy goes, I'm patiently waiting for the Reed re-signing. LOL. Me too. We all are. I keep refreshing notifications. And nothing yet. But it has to be. Everyone's tweeting out there. I don't know what this means, but Nani had tweeted out his emojis. He did a magnet and a door. I don't know that one. Don't get that one. Something's coming, though. I feel it. Frank wants Boyd. He goes, Matt, what's good, gang? I really want Boyd. He's healthy and should be low cost and get wide receiver in the 3rd round. He should be relatively low cost. One would think I'll give you what his projected contract is. And some of these have been close. Others have been a little bit on the lower side. With Boyd, PFF predicted hang on, I'll pull it up. Give me a second. 2-year, $8.25 million AAV. So a little less than $10 million. 2 years, $16.5 million deal with $10 million guaranteed, the 825. And then I'm going to try to go on Spot Rack, but that site is always so slow. And I'm going to be guessing that everyone in the world is checking it right now. Okay. Actually, it seems to be working pretty well. So we'll share this tab instead. 8.7 million AAV, a 3-year, $26 million deal is what they're projecting. I would think for Boyd, if I had to guess with how this market is, maybe a 2 for 20, like the old Applebee's 2 for 20, somewhere in that range. Oh, see, Chrome says magnet door emoji was a Le'Veon Bell signing. His brother tweeted it, but it ended up meaning nothing. Gotcha. That's right. Okay, Le'Veon, that was what, 2019? What a weird time. I liked the signing at the time. It didn't work out, obviously, but I was excited for that. Johnny goes, maybe the JJ smirk is the Jets are bringing back the flight crew. maybe that's why. Tony says, Professor Matt, do you think Dobbins would be a good fit? If healthy, potentially. He had, he only played in the one game. The last 2 years got banged up, though. 8 games in 2022, 1 game this past year. Injury scary. 1 year, $2 million deal. Would you take a flyer on it? Possibly. Professor Matt might be making a comeback, by the way. Spring 2025. Looking to make a comeback. Maybe. Let's go back to the call-ins. Friend of the program, Tigo. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. After today, Punt God is back. The real one, not the fake one in Kansas City. You know, we found out what number he's wearing. That's a big win. You know, Morgan Moses. This is why you shouldn't panic during the whole preseason or legal tampering, or we're allowed to talk to players, but we're not, but we are, but we're not, but we can sign them, but not really, but we can sign them, period, whatever that's called, which is just dumb. Because did anybody have Morgan Moses on their bingo card?
No, but that was kind of what I thought anyway, that I was trying to put out there was they're going to have to get creative and do something at either offensive line or wide receiver. And this was the creative offensive line thought. I was surprised that the Ravens were going to move off him at that price.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's one of those things where they had an opportunity to, like, it's the Chuck Clark situation, you know? They didn't want to get rid of Chuck Clark. They like Chuck Clark. They got rid of Chuck Clark because they had their replacement. So now the question has to be, who do they have in the building at right tackle that they believe in? Because at this point, they've lost 3 of their offensive line players, right?
That's true. They had, didn't they draft Falele a couple years ago?
I have no idea. I am putting that out into the world and actually asking, because I have no idea who any of.
I was going to ask what your son thought about the Ravens offensive line.
He is not a big fan of the Ravens signing. He likes the sexy picks. Okay. You know, he's waiting for the wide receiver. The other one, he was a big fan. He's all about the trenches, but that one, he's still waiting for the wide receiver.
Nice. Yeah, Daniel Falele is listed in as the right tackle currently on their depth chart as the starter after they moved on from Morgan Moses.
Yeah, so again, they just moved on, so you have to assume that it's just like no, Billy, that is Bluey. That show reigns and supreme in our household. So he's wearing his Bluey pajamas.
Bluey, I have my cousin. My cousin's kid is what? My second cousins, I guess. I don't know what that is.
Yeah?
They are both Bluey fans. So I'm well versed in the Bluey game. Good show.
I love Bluey. But yeah, man, Morgan Moses, that was a big signing. I don't know. I think free agency is about to hit like a hard stop.
You think so?
I really think so. After last year, with how many players signed late. Obviously, the Dalvin Cook situation is weird because he got released late. But with how many players got signed late last year, it's almost starting to feel like too many players signed early and then got screwed, in my opinion. Like Connor McGovern.
That's a good example of a guy.
He signed early, and then we drafted Joe Tippmann, and so technically he got screwed. Like OBJ is a great example of a guy who just waited. He wasn't healthy, but he just waited, and he got he got $18 million from the Ravens because they desperately needed a wide receiver.
And look at us with Dalvin. He waited forever too, and he ended up getting.
No, he got cut late.
Oh, he did? I thought he got cut early.
No. Remember, he got cut late, and then They were trying to redo the deal, and then he got cut late. But also, when you look at, oh, is that true?
What?
Calvin Ridley to the Titans.
What? Okay, yeah, let's pull that up. Here we go. As we'll get our quick reaction in on here. The Titans are signing Jaguars wide receiver Calvin Ridley in a stunner. 4-year, $92 million, $50 million guaranteed, 92 over 4, $23 million AAV. Holy smokes.
Jesus, my heart.
Wow. Okay. Well, he's going to be their number one receiver there. No? Or Hopkins is still there. Right?
He's wide receiver too, behind D-Hop.
Yeah, I was going to say, I forgot Hopkins is still there.
So now this puts the Titans right back into contention for an offensive lineman. We should not want this. This is a bad signing.
Yeah, well, from the Jet side of things, you're exactly right. This definitely puts them back in the mix for a tackle. Joe Alt, you are a Tennessee Titan.
Yep.
That's annoying. I was hoping to maybe trade up with them or move around potentially. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised by that one. It seemed like he was going to go right back to. Well, that Ridley ended up in Tennessee.
No, that Tennessee ended up going for another wide receiver.
Okay. Yeah. That's not surprising. They need weapons. I just figured that he was going to end up back in Jacksonville instead goes to a division rival.
This is man, this is crazy. But again, I have been saying this for a while now. I just thought they'd go at it via the draft because that's the thing. But the moment they hired Callahan, I said the priority is wide receiver.
Because he can develop. Yeah.
That's the priority. When he was in Cincinnati and given the option between a starting left tackle, a really high-level starting left tackle, and a really high-level starting wide receiver, he chose a wide receiver. So,
yeah. So
that's the.
Now, before we let you go, Tigo, are you going to fist fight Green Bean tonight? What are the topics on the docket today?
I don't know if we had things. I don't know. Our whole thing just got upended because we were going to talk about Morgan Moses. We weren't going to talk about Morgan Moses. We were going to talk about how slow the free agency period has been and what are we going to do at tackle? What's the answer here? And then we traded for Morgan Moses, and now Calvin Ridley is gone, and now Mike Williams is released. And so there are a bunch of different things. So what was originally planned is no longer on the Rocket docket, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but more than likely it's probably going to be Morgan Moses.
Love it.
And
good stuff. Like I will be tuned in. It's gonna be a good time. 8:00 over on Talking Jets. Everyone in here, make sure to head over there as well tonight. Tigo, we'll talk later, man. Enjoy.
We're going.
Awesome, good stuff. Thank you to Tigo. Next, from one legend to another, Bobby is back. Bobby, how are you, my friend?
How you doing? I like Tigo. Isn't he a funny guy?
Tigo is the best.
Didn't all three of you do a show together, right?
We've had Tigo on before over on Talking Jets.
Oh yeah, Talking Jets. That's what it is. Yeah, I remember you guys. So you pick up that guy that he just mentioned?
I do. I like the Morgan Moses trade. They gave up a 6th round pick and pick swapped to get a starting right tackle. I think it was a smart move.
So who you think Joe Alt's going to go to? What team?
I think he's going to go to Tennessee.
I want him to come to the Giants.
I don't blame you. Although they just signed, the guy Jermaine Illuminor is going to probably.
I want Joe Alt because I like Notre Dame offensive linemen. Because you know who I wanted when Zach Martin came available and what team he went to?
Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I wanted him. And I think that's the year we picked up Daniel Jones, right? That year?
I don't remember what draft year he was. That's a good question.
Yeah, we picked up a stupid player in the first round. Everybody was going crazy. Mad Dog and Chris Entertainer, you know them?
Mad Dog, of course.
Yeah. Bad Dog, you know Bad Dog too? Mad Dog,
yes.
and I love Mad Dog though too.
Okay, I thought he said Mad Dog. I was like, of course I
No,
know
I
that.
said
But
both of them.
Oh, you did?
But
Okay.
I like Mad Dog. He's a riot on WAFN, but now he's on Sirius FM.
That's
So
right.
yeah, what?
I was gonna say Martin was a 2014 draft, so that was Odell. You did pretty good in the first round that year.
Okay, all right, yeah. But I wanted the offensive lineman, but this year we got to get offensive lineman too. So, like you said, we got the one from the Raiders.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that was. So no, I'm still not happy with what the Giants did. You know what they did?
What they do?
Got rid of Barkley. He went to the Eagles.
Yeah, they didn't offer him a contract,
Well,
unfortunately.
I'm going to tell you right now, every time we play Barkley, he's going to get 200 yards every year. They're going to run all over the Giants defense. They're going to not even show up for the game.
Yeah, strong offensive line in Philly. It's going to be different running behind that line. Although he has a lot of miles on him, so eventually it might
Yeah,
just.
but still, he runs great, and they didn't use him properly. Then every time they played the Eagles running backs always destroy us. They get like 150 yards, 170 yards. Pathetic.
Yeah.
So is anybody behind me? You want the new person to come on?
Yeah, we do have another call that we're going to get to in a second. But Bobby, I do appreciate you calling back in. It was a blast.
Yeah,
calling.
I told you I would call you.
You did. You're a man of your word, and I appreciate.
And I called it the Jigga. You know Jigga.
Jigga Man Porto, of course.
Yeah, he did the Knicks today. I called him to talk about the Knicks. I like the Knicks too.
Good
All right,
stuff.
so I'll let you go. I'll let you talk to the other guy. When are you next live?
Don't know. Tomorrow's a busy day. Don't know if I'm going to be able to go back live on here again.
Okay,
but
we got to get more of viewers for you. We got to get you up there to 1,000.
I love it. Thank you, Bobby. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you to Bobby. Honest Abe is up next. We'll add him into the program. What's going on, Honest Abe?
Matt, it's been too long, brother. How's everything?
It's going well. It's been a good day today. I'll take that after a quiet start.
Absolutely. Isn't it wild as Jets fans how excited we get about re-signing kickers and punters?
True. It's true, though.
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible that's what we're so excited about. Those should be like guaranteed under the radar. Good, we got our guys instead of headlines that we're expecting. But it is what it is at this point. Love the Morgan Moses trade. One thing I'm definitely terrified of, though, is that we go and we sign Tyron Smith, David Bakhtiari, Jonah Williams, whoever it is to play left tackle for next year. And then Joe Douglas says, we got our 5. Let's attack the draft in a different way and skip on offensive line. Realistically, with the way the Jets are and have been the last few years, we probably need 8 legitimate starting offensive linemen just this year alone. So let's not try and get a nice little 6th-round pick that we can develop in 4 years and slide them in this year if we need to. I'm done with that crap. Let's get guys that can actually play on the field. And if we have too many good offensive linemen, that's a problem I'm willing to have. I've heard so many people say, we get Tyron Smith now, we got our 5, we're set. Let's go get Roma Dunze in the 1st round. Well, for one of those top 3 receivers probably won't be there at 10. You're more likely to get a top offensive tackle at that spot anyway. I don't want to reach for the kid from not Neighbors, the other kid from LSU. I don't want to reach for these guys at 10. Get the best freaking player available. Make it an offensive lineman. Because what if Tyron Smith does go down? What if Morgan Moses, who's older, does go down for a little bit? We need more legitimate depth, not just human bodies that play the physical position.
Yeah, it's a good point because the guys that you mentioned, Moses has been pretty healthy in his career, but you mentioned mid-30s now. And Tyron Smith, while he's great, he misses time every year. He's going to get banged up and miss some time. So and they're both kind of would be Band-Aid fixes. They're not long-term answers. So if you like one of those guys, then, you could either have him as a second-tier guy, plug him in at guard. There's, multiple ways you could do this.
Get your best 5 out there. Get 8 legitimate. I know it's asking for a ton, but get 8 guys that actually know how to play the position and can play it well. Injuries happen. It's football, right? Like, we as Jets fans know it better than anybody else. We talk about plug and play AVT. Dude's coming off 2 major injuries. And I'm not calling him injury prone or expecting injuries to happen or anything like that. But who knows if he's going to be the same player coming off of these 2 injuries as he was his first 2 years in the league. So there is some worry, that small worry on my end from that as well. Go get Olaf Fashanu, go get Fuaga, go get Joe Alt if available. Just go get me some freaking offensive linemen, big bodies. And this way, Bakhtiari is going to be here. I said this on my podcast I did yesterday. The only way David Bakhtiari is not on the Jets next year is if he's the Secretary of State for this United States of America. That's the only way.
Yeah, when he's locked up, when he's in there with Rodgers. No, you're right. I'm setting myself up for that, but I don't want them to just be like, oh, we signed Bakhtiari, we're good. Like, no, please continue to
Right.
add there.
And even with the people that are saying, oh, we have 4 starters now, and whoever we draft, that's going to be slide in and be our left tackle. Well, what if that guy sucks? Like, just because you're a first-round pick does not mean you should just be handed the keys to whatever position is. It should be the best player available at that time getting the starting position. If Olu Fashanu is the draft pick and, hell, Carter Warren outplays him, well, Carter Warren should be the guy on the field. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh can't worry right now about draft capital and investment into guys because it's not going to matter in 2025. They won't be here if the best players aren't on the field when the games are actually being played.
There we go. I love the take on it, Dave. Thanks for checking in with us today. Hopefully we get some more signings even. That'd be fun.
God, I hope so. Probably when I'm asleep.
Sounds good. Have a good rest of the day, my friend.
Later, Matty. I'll talk to you about.
All right, good stuff. Let's get back to some of these super chats. I'm falling behind here. I appreciate you. Over 600 in here on YouTube. Good stuff. Make sure to leave a like if you just hopped in here. Get in on the chat. We'll go through. Brian Bogutz is late to the party. Weird that my favorite signings so far are kicker and punter and QB2. Of the actual signings, yes, I agree with that. The favorite move overall for me is the Morgan Moses trade. Kicker and punter is a big deal. I know that it's I don't know if joke is the right word, but kind of like a running gag. Like, oh, they signed their kicker and punter. Like, special teams matters. It really does. I hope they sign Justin Hardy on that one, next and complete that special teams. Ask Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay if he would have liked a better special teams unit in that playoff game against San Francisco a couple years ago. I think he would have signed up for that. They probably win that game and go on a run if that's the case. Special teams matter. So I don't think it's weird. Mike D's life, Garrett Wilson, Brees, Boyd, Bowers, Bookett, Matt. I mean, that would be a really fun offense. It would. Assuming you fill left tackle adequately, that would be an incredible, group of weapons. Because right now, and you still have Tyler Conklin and, maybe some other young receivers take a step like Xavier Gibson or Jason Brownlee or whoever else, Jeremy Ruckert maybe. But that's a really nice core. A really nice score. And then Bradley chimes back and says, my guy was on that. I assume Texans, but still right when he said division rival. There you go. Bradley knows, man. His guy, he's got the Pretty Ricky. He's on it. Pretty Ricky's been on the money today. Very, very surprising, but good. Very surprising. You never know who has the sources this time of year. Buffalo Jet fan with the tweet of the day says, had 6 happy hour beers and I think I'm a shot of whiskey and an Ashton Davis re-signing away from being a JD truther again. That's tremendous. Tremendous. Great stuff. If you don't follow Buffalo Jets Twitter account and the YouTube channel, you are missing out on incredible content. The Calvin Ridley story is blowing up Twitter. I didn't hit the breaking news for it, so I'm late to the party, but we'll do it.
Breaking news!
The $93 million man. I can't believe that. 4 years, 92, 50 million guaranteed. He's 29. He's the quickest 29-year-old in maybe NFL history. Oh, he came into the league at like 24, 25. That went really fast though. But some of these other receivers, who've come in around the same time, they're still like, hey, that guy's 25. He still has years left. Titans aren't done. We got another breaking news for the Titans.
Breaking news!
Former Jets legend Nick Folk signed to a 1-year, $3.755 million deal per source. Max 4.13 with incentives. A big deal for the NFL's most accurate kicker in recent years. Was he with them last year? I believe so, right? We know he went to New England for a while, but I thought he was in Tennessee. So that's a re-signing. I thought his career was going to be done after he gets cut by the Jets or, moves on from the Jets after 2016. Only 4 games in Tampa, 7 in New England, but then a resurgence in his late 30s. Was good in 20, 21, 22 for New England. And then obviously very good last year, hit for 96.7%. He was 28 of 30. That's incredible. And extra points, 93%. Good stuff. Let's get back in on the chat as well. I'm ready. Jesse says, CJ got the boot at tight end. Let's sign Matt. I'm ready to go. I think I would be a pass catcher, though. I can't see myself being a good blocker. Maybe a slow, big slot receiver who's going to run 5 yards, turn around, catch the pass, and fall down. That's my plan. Why no dark mode? I'm anti dark mode, which is that's a rare thing these days. I know most people are dark mode guys. I like the bright. I don't like the dark. Same on YouTube. I'm light mode YouTube, light mode phone. I fully admit that I'm in the minority, but that's what I like. I don't like change, so I stick with what I know. This does not sound like we're gonna get I'll do it's not really breaking news, but I'm gonna hit the sounder anyway.
Breaking news!
This does not sound promising for a former Jet, or could potentially be a former Jet. Justin Hardy tweets, "The way I play speak for itself." Shaking my head. I would imagine that means the Justin Hardy market has not been booming. Maybe not getting much interest, and that also probably means not much interest from the Jets as well. TBD, subject to change, but Justin Hardy, more than likely, not happy in his current situation. I thought that he would be someone who would come back as well today, but what do I know? Brian chimes in with a super chat, says Ridley about to make a fortune on DraftKings. Holy smokes. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously if you're playing, you can't gamble. What he was doing is I think he got hit a little hard for that, if we're being honest. I cannot believe that he's getting a $23 million AAV deal. That's a lot of money, but for a desperate team at wide receiver, it seems like they missed on Treylon Burks, who hasn't been great in his first 2 years in the league. He had 220 yards in 11 games. He played 11 games each of his first 2 years in the league. He has 1 receiving touchdown. So they needed help at the position badly, and they overpaid for it. I thought he would get 20 as an overpay. I didn't think it would be 23. Mr. Downtown says George Fant to Seattle. Is that the case? Oh, yeah. Okay. Tom Pelissaro reported it. I'll pull it up. I missed that. who's a former Seattle Seahawk as well. That's where the Jets got him from. Blast from the past. The Seahawks also agreed to terms with veteran offensive tackle George Fant, who got his NFL start with Seattle in 2016. And then right underneath is the picture of him lining up out wide, which is just a really funny visual. Really funny visual. Good for George Fant. Don't see the terms on that contract, but we'll see. Leary wide open, no one within 15 yards. Well, you ship bricks if you caught it in the middle of the field and you had NFL defenders closing it. I would turtle. That's what I said. I'd go no one within 15 yards. I'd catch the ball and still fall down. And then they dogpile on me and I'd probably cry. I don't see that going very well. Hey, Mike D's life is a light mode guy. I'm not alone. Not alone in there. Vinny says, Matt, Jets probably need 2 receivers, right? Yeah, I think so. And that could one of the receivers could come through the draft, by the way, if they want to do that. 3rd, 4th round should be a really nice option there. Okay, we got a breaking news.
Breaking news!
Arman Watts is a New England Patriots. David Cantor says, congratulations to client Arman Watts on agreeing to terms to sign with the Patriots. Arman Watts was with Pittsburgh, had half a sack in 2023 in 15 games as a rotational guy. His best year was in 2021, where he had 5 sacks and 46 tackles. But he played 28% of the snaps for Pittsburgh. Rotational defensive tackle. Can't get over how much Ridley got. I agree with Alex there. Donker Sloot says Renfrew would be a cheap option. He probably would. I don't know. He had a really bad year last year. The last 2 years, he hasn't been very good. 330 yards, 2 touchdowns in 10 games in 2022. In 2023, 17 games and 255 yards. No touchdowns. First 3 years in the league was solid. No denying that. 1,000-yard season, 9 touchdowns in 2021, and then just right off a cliff. Dakota goes, who the fuck? And Curtis goes, who the hell is Arman Watts? Yeah, can't say that I was the biggest Arman Watts guy. Name sounded somewhat familiar, but after looking up his Pro Football Reference page, got a little bit more insight. Rotational defensive tackle. We've been on for an hour and a half. No Jet stuff, naturally, though, because why would there be? Had the Thomas Morstead signing before we logged on. Also had the Morgan Moses trade before we logged on, which was good. And then I thought, oh, awesome. One, we had things to talk about, which is, again, I was excited about. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have things to talk about. Good way to start the show. But I thought if I start at 4 instead of 12 today, because 4 is technically the start of the new league year. That's why I waited and pushed. We're going to get some Jets news while I'm live. An hour and a half in, nothing yet. I would love, the King says, trade for Sutton. I love Cortland Sutton. The Broncos apparently are not having him available. Now, if that changes, by the way, which it could, I would be in on it. But The Athletic was reporting that they don't have interest in trading him. They traded Jerry Jeudy. They need some pass catchers. Maybe if you blow him away with an offer, but I don't think you're doing that for Cortland Sutton. Whether it's, hey, here's a 4th round pick, let's take him, or hey, you want to move up to pick 10 and we'll move back to pick 12 and take him. Not a bad move. Morgan Moses for Secretary of State. I'm in. I like Jake Asman had a good tweet. He says, hey, Sauce Gardner, how do you feel about the nickname Secretary of Defense for you? I think it's good. I like it. It's a good move. Good call. Gangrene says, I was hoping for Mooney, but I think Williams is a great fit for us if he stays healthy. I liked Mooney, but not at that price. And I'm sure same thing for Gangrene here. I was not expecting him to get the kind of money that he did. Holy smokes. He cashed in with a $13 million AAV deal coming off of a season that had 414 yards. And the year before that had 493 yards in 12 games. Really good deep threat. Can help you push the ball down the field. Had 1,000 yards in 2021 with Justin Fields, 4 touchdowns. Is probably a good like third option. Maybe ends up being a good second option, but at $13 million. Granted, he is only 26. He's still young. So maybe there is upside. I'm not going to say maybe there is upside. There definitely is upside. But that was a surprise. It just says, do you think D-Hop is a trade target? No, I think he stays. I think they want to see what they have in Will Levis, and they're not going to take away weapons from him at that point. At this point. D's Life is back again. Says Jets fans wanted a splash. Thank God JD didn't do that Ridley deal. That's a crazy overpay, in my opinion. Yeah, no, it is. It definitely is. And there's a limit to the splash, or like 23 for Ridley is crazy town. It is. But he had a shrewd move earlier today with Morgan Moses. You got to find a balance, I think, is the main point that I want to make here. You can't go full, I'm going to spend Looney Tunes money in free agency every year and just hope and pray that it works, because that's unrealistic. I don't think that's a good way to build it. And you can't also act like you're the smartest guy in the room and that, I'm just going to stick to my guns and that's that. I don't know. You got to find a happy medium here. But Jet fans would be crushing JD right now if he made that contract at the $23 million. The 4 for 92. It's a lot. It really is a lot. Yeah, the Titans offseason has not looked great. Look at this tweet from Ari here. It says, Titans offseason so far, Calvin Ridley, 4 for 92. Pollard, 3 for 42. Cushenberry, 4 for 50. Mason Rudolph they brought in as well. Kenneth Murray, Nick Folk, Woozy. I don't know about that. I don't think it's been a great. They spent money, but I don't know if they spent it wisely. We'll see. As I said earlier in the show, I think Mason Rudolph plays at some point this year. I think there's a good chance he could. Oh, we got some breaking news.
Breaking news!
Bobby Wagner, Seahawks perennial Pro Bowl and All-Pro linebacker Bobby Wagner is signing with the Commanders on a 1-year deal worth a max value of $8.5 million, a deal that includes $6 million in guarantee. Dan Quinn was with Wagner a decade ago in Seattle. Now they are back, a splash for Washington. There we go. That's a good one. Obviously, some of his best years were when he was with Dan Campbell. So he went back to Seattle in 2023, was there from 2012 through 2021, put up monster numbers every single year, then went to the Rams and was great again, went back to Seattle at age 33 and had 183 tackles, was a Pro Bowler and second team All-Pro at linebacker at age 33, and now is joining Dan Quinn on a 1-year deal in Washington. Good way to close out your career, I would say. A.J. Brown is only 26, and the Titans decided not to pay him when they just paid Ridley. Yeah, that I would say that's probably a mistake, right? That not probably, definitely. Yeah, him still being only 26 is kind of wild. They traded him away at 24 years old. off a good season. He had 869 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then goes to Philly, almost 1,500, 1,496 yards, 11 touchdowns. This past year, 1,456 and 7 touchdowns. Just the all-time bag fumble. That did not work out well at all. And they used that pick on Treylon Burks, who's been injured and not very good. Ali says he's still elite, Wagner. He's incredible. I do. And for an OS, do you think Wagner's a first ballot Hall of Famer? I think he should be. He's a 6-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, all 2010s team. He has 1,700 tackles in his career. Very well. I mean, if he plays 2 more years, he's getting over 2,000 tackles in the NFL. Finished second in Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012 to who? Luke Kuechly. Okay, that's honorable, bowing out to him. I do think Bobby Wagner is the first ballot Hall of Famer. At least he should be. Check it out. What an idiot Sean Bennett comment. Oh, no. What did I miss? Do I got to scroll through? Oh, no. Shawnee. Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. I'm sorry to do it to you, Sean. We can't be having this in the chat today. No bad vibes. We're supposed to have good vibes. We're going to put you in a timeout. Not just 5 minutes. 5 minutes to think about your sins. That's all. Mike Williams won't be an option. He replied on X that he doesn't want to shovel snow for an hour before games. Wait, really? Is Mike Williams on Twitter? I guess he is, right? Like most people are, but let's see. Was it an actual Mike Williams account? I'm going to assume that's not a real. Yeah, it's possible. Who knows? What do I know? Yeah, I mean, I like Williams says I wanted us to draft Treylon Burks when he came out. Got that one wrong. I did like Treylon. Gar Wilson, I talked about a lot as well, but do you have a quarterback coach? I don't think they have hired a quarterback coach. It would be nice if they did, but they have to find an upgrade over Rob. It shouldn't be hard to find an upgrade over Rob Calabrese, but I would like to see them add a quarterback coach. Dakota, come on, guys. Let's not fight in the chat. I would easily knuckle up with Dano, always talking that trash. Come on now, Dakota. Let's keep it civil, ladies and gentlemen. Scotty says Burks 40 times scared me. He did not test well that year. That is true. He did not have the best combine performance. Not going to deny that. Jiggaman Porto says it's getting spicy. Yeah, you just popped in here and they're popping off. Our pets' heads are falling off. We got Jet fans fighting each other in the chat. What else is new? On another day of free agency, we got people fighting. Brandon Marshall probably wants to come back still. I think he does. Didn't he talk about that last year? Not that it was super realistic for it to come through, but I suppose anything's possible. Would you give Boyd the Lazard deal? What did Lazard get? 33 for 3? I think that's going off the top of my 4 years, 44. No, I wouldn't give him 4 years. I would do 2 for 20. I think is where I'm at for him. What do you think of Khalil on a 1 year deal? Depending on the cost, but he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker. So I don't know how much of a fit he would be. He did have 17 sacks last year at 32. Impressive stuff. 8 the year before that. 6 and 7 games with the Chicago. What a career he's had. And Alan points out Mack is staying in LA. That's right. They restructured him, didn't they? My brain is fried right now. Yeah, here we go. I'll pull it up. 8-time Pro Bowl defensive end and former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Khalil Mack will remain a Los Angeles Charger and free up salary cap space for the team, agreeing to restructure his deal. Per sources, Mike Williams leaves, Mack stays. My bad. That's right. I did. That was from 3 hours ago. KJ Osborne would be perfect. KJ Osborne, 5th round by the Minnesota Vikings in the 2020 draft, had 550 yards and 3 touchdowns. The 2 years before that, 650 and 5, 655 and 7 in 2021. What do we think Osborne would get? It would probably be less than Boyd, I guess, right? You would think. KJ Osborne. No Alexander Madison signing either. Those are 2 Minnesota Vikings who haven't gotten signed. $7 million a year. What did Holland Mack was it? Who am I thinking of? Someone help me in the chat. Someone no, not Mack. Who am I thinking of? There was another receiver that signed with the Bills earlier today or yesterday. Again, my brain's not working. So I don't know what comparison I was going to make. Let's get back to the super chats for now instead, and then maybe I'll think of it. Lloyd says, I say move AVT to left tackle. Easier to find a guard than a tackle. This move allows us to have more flexibility in the draft. It does allow them to have more flexibility in the draft. That is true. He has played 1 game in his career at left tackle in the NFL. It was at Pittsburgh. He did okay in that game. He played left tackle at USC. It's not my favorite option, but you aren't wrong to point out that it should be easier in theory to find a guard. But I don't think that's going to be the play, Lloyd. I'd be surprised if that ends up being the play. Jason Edwards, he's a member for 11 months on the channel. Thank you, 11 months of support. Jason Edwards. Matt, we got our starting right guard. Who are we drafting at 10 or trading back? Just came to the chat. Jason, welcome to the chat. Welcome in here. As of right now, I'm still going to say offensive line. If they end up signing Tyron Smith, then that goes out the window. Then that one goes out the window, and it's Brock Bowers or Roma Dunze or whoever is there for the New York Jets at that spot. But I think I'd be surprised if they were able to swing another free agency deal. They did a trade. They signed Simpson from Baltimore. Mac Hollins is who I was thinking of. Thank you. What did Mac Hollins get? I was going to compare the money. that 1 year, $3 million. Okay, so probably a little bit more for Osborne, I would think. Hollins had 251 yards last year, 690 the year before that, and 4 touchdowns in Vegas. That was probably his best year of his career. So probably a little bit more than Matt Collins. Alan chimes in and says, Jonah Williams must be asking for the moon. He's going to get, I think someone's going to pay him 15 million or more a year. And I think that would be a mistake. I don't think he's a very good tackle. He is he's a capable starter, but he's going to allow a ton of sacks and a ton of pressures. He's not going to give you a ton of penalties. He'll play every week, but not my favorite option. Honestly, not my favorite option. Mike, the stat guy, says, you guys think Fasciano should be a lock at 10? If he makes it there and they don't add a veteran, I would say yes, that is absolutely the one that they should go. Assuming Joe Alt is off the board, which I don't see a world where he isn't off the board at that point. Pro trade up for Marv. Maserati Marv. He's going to go in the top 4. It'd be hard to get all the way up there. Trade back, grab Fuaga and Lad McConkey. I love Lad McConkey. He was working out today, right, with Georgia. Lad McConkey screams Kansas City Chief with the last pick of the first round. That's my prediction for right now. Gator, what's up, man? Thank you, Gator, for chiming in with your support. Go check out his work. I still got to watch the interview with Jake Asman. I know that premiered yesterday. It's on my list of things to do. Been a busy couple of days, but I'm going to get around to it. He says, what about Michael Thomas, free agent today? Michael Thomas, I don't think I want to take that gamble. When healthy early in his career, was a special player. Had 3 straight seasons over 1,200 yards. 2019 had 1,700 yards and 9 touchdowns. Since then, in 2020, 438 yards in 7 games. Missed 2021 with an injury. Played 3 games in 2022 and played 3 games in 2023. This past year, 448 yards in 10 games. 44.8 yards per game. It would be a 1-year flyer deal. It's been longer since he's been productive than a guy like Mike Williams, for example, who is, all coming off a season where he was injured as well. But this seems like a little bit more of a pattern for Michael Thomas. So I would say no, but it's an outside the box thought potentially. Alan S. Did Reisner or Pete sign? No. He neither of those got signed. They are still available. I think I'd rather Reisner of the 2. And then follows it up with McConkey or Worthy at pick 32. Yep, they're going to go wide receiver. One of those 2 guys. They're, late first round, early second round guys. Jason Ratcliffe wants to know, why hasn't JD done more restructures? Back-end contracts like CJ Mosley shouldn't be paying him $21 million. They shouldn't. I think they eventually will, especially we got the DJ Reed bag thing. Like I'm going to imagine we're going to get a notification at some point. That's what I'm holding out hope for on here. Chestnut Checkers with the bag that he got himself a nice contract extension. That'd be nice. Forever Ron says it could be worse. We could be Cowboys fans. They have not signed a single external player. right? Like they haven't signed a single guy from another team. Could you imagine how frustrated we'd be at that point? Tony Pollard out, Tyron Smith potentially out. They've retained some people, but that's about it. Did the Chargers get rid of any receivers yet? They cut Mike Williams, so he is a free agent. Could be signed by anyone. Daniel, our resident Dolphins fan, is in the chat. Says Allen Miami can get a guard in the second. They need a number 3 receiver. Yeah, they definitely do. That's a route that I could see them going. And they love speed too, by the way. Brian says, is Casey okay? I don't hear any door scratching. Yeah, she was hanging out with me in here until about 4:45. And then she was scratching to get out. And luckily I was rescued. Someone came and let her out. Casey is okay. She's been very sleepy today. Lazy day. She had the Joe Douglas day where, you sleep during the afternoon and then the fam gets home around, 4:45, 5 o'clock, and then she's ready to go. Casey's all good. Thank you for asking. What else we got? Sorry, I'm looking at Twitter and looking at the Rodgers stuff is a little much right now. Oh yeah, here comes another Justin Hardy tweet. Around this time, everybody forget how special teams win and lose games until it's too late, but we're gonna see. He's not wrong. He's had a few tweets about this. The way I play speak for itself. Around this time, everybody forget how special teams win and lose games until it's too late, but we're gonna see. Special teams did look different after he was out for a few weeks and then came back. They let up the punt return in the Chargers game while he was out. Oh, God. It turns out JJ was just working because Hannah was on his lap. That's great. Good stuff. Mark Dub says Jetson talks with high pitch Eric to play left tackle. No, they already made a left tackle signing, guys. Did you miss it? I broke the news earlier today. Hold on. Here you go. I'll pull it up. Joe Douglas adds some much-needed depth on the offensive line by signing left tackle Bobby Bacalieri to a 1-year contract. That was their big free agency left tackle edition. I don't know how you guys missed this. I broke this story at 12:14 p.m. right before the Morgan Moses trade. Squidward is happy that we didn't pay 23. I agree. Blitz crew, what's going on, Blitz? Thank you for checking in with us, my friend. Says Mecole got the bag yet? No, surprisingly, nobody wants to pay a wide receiver 5 who's going to go on podcasts and talk about how he gave up because a rookie beat him out as a punt returner. And then maybe leak a game script / a playbook. So, yeah, I was surprised to find out that nobody really wanted to sign that guy, which is crazy. Right, you would think, man, let me sign up for what, the 100 and how many receiving yards did he have? Like 125 this year between the Jets and the Chiefs. 124, 15 catches, 124 yards. Had the game-winning Super Bowl catch though, because of course he did. But no bag for Mecole Hardman. He did. Sonny says that Sauce destroyed Mecole in a recent interview. Yes, he went on the Pivot podcast this week. There's a great clip. I'm not going to bring it up on the because I'll get hit with the copyright for it. But if you want to check it out, it's on the Pivot podcast. They posted it on their socials. It's like a 3-minute answer, but it was really, really good. He goes in and talks about why things didn't work out with Hardman with the Jets. He gave him a ton of credit for making a play and, for Kansas City. And, I think he was respectful, but also stern at the same time. It's like, well, the guy was dropping, hella punts and kind of came in entitled. Tragic says, who you like for RB2? I like AJ Dillon or Kareem Hunt. Think we need another solid back and don't dare anyone say bring back Cook. No, I am not in on that. Most of the RB2 options that I liked, I feel like signed already. Kareem Hunt has kind of been underwhelming the last 2 years in Cleveland. He played in 15 games this year, had 411 yards on 135 carries. So he averaged 3 yards a carry, averaged 3.8 yards a carry in 2022. So I think it's starting to go a little bit for him. Was productive his first 3 years in Cleveland. Obviously, we know he was productive with the Kansas City Chiefs as well early in his career, but at this point, I think he's gone. What about? I don't know. I guess maybe AJ Dillon. He struggled this year. He had 613 yards on 178 carries, 2 touchdowns, 3.4 yards per attempt. He was okay before that. 770 yards, 7 touchdowns in 2022. 2021 had 803 and 5. I think Ezekiel Elliott as a short yardage back isn't a bad thought. Again, he's not the guy that he once was at, soon to be 29 years old. But he's going to be really, really, really cheap. Really cheap. Like $2 million vet minimum cheap. What about J.K. Dobbins? That's another one that is a maybe $2 million flyer. A vet minimum. He's really hasn't played the last 2 years. 1 game in 2023. He played 8 in 2022. Went on the field, very good. But, I mean, at least he wouldn't have to be a lead guy. His rookie season had 134 carries for 805 and 9 touchdowns. 6 yards a carry. Averaged 53 yards a game in 2020. In 2022, averaged 65 yards a game. He just can't stay healthy. Donta Foreman. That's who I was thinking of that I couldn't come up with the name. I was spelling it wrong. Donta Foreman with Chicago this past year, 425 and 4. He was pretty good in Carolina the year before that in 2022. 914 yards, 5 touchdowns, 53.8 yards per game. It's not a bad option. He's a bigger back at 6 foot, 235 pounds. Not bad. I'd be okay with that. Ridley just tweeted chestnut checkers. Ridley or Reed? Reed tweeted that, but Calvin Ridley may have also. Oh, he did too. He also did. Chestnut checkers love all Ridley. Calvin Ridley said, great reply. He got a all-time bag. All-time bag. The King says opinions of Donovan Smith. As I really like. He's from Hempstead, so it's hard for me to hate a kid from not very far away from where I grew up. Was a Jet fan. Love that. He talked about how he wanted to play for the Jets. He's just unfortunately not very good. he's not. It's kind of a miracle that the Chiefs won a Super Bowl with the tackle duo that they had. I don't even know if I would want to bring him in for depth as a 1-year deal. He's not a nice guy. Again, from Long Island, from Hempstead, not from far from me. Like, would love to. If he was good, I'd be like, hell yeah. But unfortunately, not the case. See, this is upsetting. The thank you to Bryce Huff. This didn't have to be this way. New York Jets. It didn't have to be this way. They didn't have to do us like that. Crazy. I think it means a DJ Reed extension. That was my prediction. What do you think that tweets mean from our defense? I think DJ Reed signed an extension, saves him $7.5 million this year. I think it's a good move. George Thomas says, are we going to make another trade or sign a free agent? I sure as hell hope so. That's why I've been out here for 2 hours. I want them to do something in this span. I said, let me do it at 4 o'clock today. Let me do it at 4 o'clock today. I think that would be the better idea. And instead, it's been all quiet on the Western Front. Let me just check in. The Dolphins are expected to sign Neville Gallimore from the Cowboys. Interesting. All right, we got another call, so let's go back to the call online. Nick T. What's going on, Nick T? How are
What's
you?
up, Matt? How's it going?
How's it going, Nick?
Good. So I'm still struggling to deal. So I like the Moses deal. I thought it was kind of baffling that we signed him, 2 years ago, and I guess Douglas didn't think he was good enough to be brought back then, but we trade for him now. It's a little questionable. But if we were going to bring in Moses and Baltimore lineman, why not get Zeitler too and just fill in the whole right side with that Baltimore side?
It was a good right side of the offensive line too. I'll tell you that.
It made the most sense to me, but I think it's still a serviceable line, and Rodgers is that good a quarterback that he can get the ball out fast and make up for some of the deficiencies that'll probably happen. I'm still hoping that Bakhtiari comes too. I know not, with the health issues. If Bakhtiari comes and we could still double down with a first-round pick, I think the team's looking pretty good at the offensive line. I feel okay with it.
Would you have the rookie start and Bakhtiari back up, or Bakhtiari start and have the rookie back up?
I view tackles kind of like the quarterback position, right? Like, it's very similar in that aspect of start with the veteran and then go to the rookie the latter part of the season. I see Johnny in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your take about Brock Lesnar coming back?
Well, he's back on the roster page. So for WWE.com. So I don't know. I'm not sure. There's a lot of questions, a lot of legal issues that are still up in the air for WWE and Brock Lesnar specifically. So not sure. But I got my Money Inc. T-shirt on today, hoping that maybe Douglas would have,
toss around some cash.
Yeah. What manifest it, right?
You gotta. And I don't know. It was off to a hot start. Brought back Thomas Morstead. You go out there and you make a nice trade for Morgan Moses, and then league year starts at 4 o'clock, and he's like, okay, right back to bed, I guess. No, that's it for today.
Yeah, I'm trying to be as patient as possible because again, I still feel like the teams value hunting, right? Like, he's always bargain hunting because there's so many holes, and again, the cap is a real thing. You have only so much money to devote toward it. And if it's 25 million that we had, I think, freed up, which still, and I'm not trying to go off on a tangent here, but like CJ Mosley hasn't restructured yet. So that's still money that I feel like we have to play around with. That, again, what are we putting that towards? Is Tyler Boyd, is he the guy that they're going to put 8 to 12 million in? I'm interested to see, but I get the bargain-based hunting aspect of it. That's why I always thought that we were going to trade for a wide receiver. And I really liked the big three. I liked were Ayuk, Hopkins, and McLaurin, and I don't think Hopkins is moving anywhere now with that Ridley signing.
Nope.
I mean, why would you? So
yeah, they
I mean,
want to see the weapon. I think they want to see if Will Levis is their guy, so they want to keep the
Yeah.
weapons there.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think McLaurin still has, there's still a possibility if Washington decides they're going to completely rebuild. And I really do think Ayuk, a lot of people think, I know we talked about this when you're on Jake's show. I really do think, and even with I know Deontay Johnson's a completely different receiver, nowhere near the same tier, but he went for a low, what do you go for, a 6 and a 7? So I feel like if they can't come to terms on a deal as a rental, he may still go for, probably more likely a 2, but a 3 and a 4 probably gets it done to get him over here, and or maybe something similar for or less for McLaurin.
Yeah, the McLaurin one I think is, of the 3, maybe the more likely option, and that is, I don't know, that's a name. Scary Terry, I feel like, has been on, not officially on the trade block, but a name that's been kicked around via trades for a while now.
He gets 1,000 yards with everybody, like
Yeah,
every
exactly.
year.
That's kind of like the Mike Evans thing, like he just doesn't matter the situation. He's going to put up 1,000 yards no matter who his quarterback or coach is. And
yeah, and I just feel like he's at that point. I think he's 29, right? Like he's at that point in his career where you're just a perfect transition to a 2.
Yeah, he's 28 years old. He'll turn 29 in September. Had 79 catches for 1,000 yards this past year. Plays every game too. Very, very rarely misses time.
And he's only like 6'2", like so he could be inside, outside. Garrett can move around. Like I think that's what they have. Granted, again, if Hackett's calling plays, the creativity is not going to be there, but it gives us the versatility to do that.
Exactly. 6 foot 210 on McLaurin. I wanted to see what his splits were last year for if we're inside or outside, where his alignment was. Let's see if we can pull that up. Receiving, I'll give you in a second here. He was 84% out wide last year, which was high for him. Usually hits somewhere around like 70 to 75% out wide and like 20 to 25% in the slot.
That's probably because Dotson's more of a slot receiver, right?
Yeah, I would think so. That, he's kind of pretty much exclusively there. And Curtis Samuel's been there too the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Also, like it depends on the personnel you have. I just think, with that team, he was more of an outside guy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the Moses deal, again, it's a veteran, so it's not like an end-all, be-all, and doesn't preclude us from taking a tackle at 10, but it does, with a line starting to come together, it does make pick 10 a little bit more open.
No, it does. And I'm curious to see where they go with that, because as we've been talking about, pretty much every, calls hopped in here and said that, it's TBD what they do. They could go offensive line still at 10, but if they add another veteran, then that opens up like, hey, maybe Brock Bowers is legit option at 10, or maybe it is a wide receiver in the spot instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the position you really want to be in with any draft, is best player available, right?
No, absolutely. So, Nick T, I appreciate you hopping in with
Thanks,
us
man.
today. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too, dude.
Good stuff there from Nick T. To the super chats, we go back. Dark Knight Steve says, thanks for the content. Great stuff. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I've enjoyed doing this the last little bit here with you guys. Tomorrow's a busy day. So at 11, I'll be on Big Apple Blitz with Anthony Rivardo, breaking down Jets and Giants free agency. AFC East roundtable. I believe we're doing a Jets roundtable tomorrow. I will check in on that. Haven't been on my phone really the last 2 hours. And then Jeremy and I will be live at 3:00 for reality check over on Talking Jets. So 3 different streams tomorrow. Not on here, but we will be active with coverage. Don't worry. Dark Knight Steve follows up his super chat by saying the Jets are going to sign Mike Williams. I really hope that's the case. That would make for a great way to end this stream. We're at 2 hours, 15 minutes in. It'd be really sick to just get like one last drop of news in here. I think we'll plan for 6:30 unless something happens. So we'll do another 15 minutes or so of questions and refresh. Unless we get some news. If some news drops, then I'll stay on. We'll get some big reactions. Why not? I didn't. The King says, did you hear what Greeny had to say about the Rodgers situation? I didn't. I don't really usually tune into his show. He's not usually my speed with his takes and just kind of, I don't know what they do there. So not my thing. Some kind of Jets news in a way, I guess.
Breaking news.
There are 2 bylaws proposals to push back the trade deadline from the Tuesday after week 8. Steelers propose moving it to the Tuesday after week 9. Browns, Lions, Jets, Eagles, and Commanders propose moving it to the Tuesday after week 10. I like after week 10. Push it as late as you can go. Why not? You know, especially after the 17th game. So you're either playing 9 or 10 games at that point of your season, which is really the halfway mark. Week 8 isn't quite the halfway mark anymore because you either played 7, you know, depending on where if you had the bye week or not yet, 7 or 8 games. I don't think that's enough. I like it when it's a little bit later in the other sports. And I think 10 is the best option. So I hope that the Browns, Lions, Jets, Eagles, Commanders, end up getting on it. What do you think of a trade up for Alt? I would not be opposed to it. I think it would be a wise decision because he could come in and be your left tackle, and be your left tackle for a very, very long time. And a damn good one at that. Like, I think he's has the highest ceiling of the group, has the highest floor of the group. I'd be the most comfortable with Joe Alt out of all the rookies. I do like Olu Fashanu, and I mean, I like Talisi Fuaga, but with the addition of Morgan Moses, I don't know if that's the direction that they were going to go, unless, as was previously brought up by the chat and some calls today, unless they go with AVT at left tackle and then play Fuaga at right guard for a year while Morgan Moses is right tackle. So they could do something like that. Let's go back to the phones. Another legend on the line. Connor. What's going on, Connor? How are you?
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. What are your thoughts on free agency so far today?
So Morgan Moses, great signing. I mean, he was all right with the Jets, and then we gave him up, and I was like, oh my God, why did we give him up? That guy went out and had a great year. My only fear is I think the chance of getting Tyron Smith is now this small. You know, I think probably less than 1% we get him, but I like Moses, budget option. I mean, I never really expected Douglas to kind of get Smith, but I'll take a guy like Moses.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, a low risk, potentially high
reward. Yeah.
Yeah, because you traded essentially a 6th round pick. You still have your 4th. You just moved back 20 spots, and you get someone on a $5.5 million cap hit.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's solid contract. Take him. The Kinlaw money is a little more than what I expected, but still solid piece. I talked to Samini a little last night. He said, well, he was right. He said he didn't see Ridley coming to the Jets. He did say he would rule out a T. Higgins trade. So I think that leaves us. And then he really said that he doesn't think Cortland Sutton's coming here either because they just gave up Judy. But the Jets have been active in the trade market, is what he told me. So I really don't know what that leaves them with, like, honestly.
Yeah, especially at wide receiver, right? Because they made their trade with, you know, getting Morgan Moses, obviously, but would they be willing to make a trade again for a receiver? And if so, who's the guy?
You know, my number one option right now would just pick up Mike Williams, as he was just released. Like cut or whatever it is, cut or released. Take him. I'd take him.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth the swing, especially on, you know, it'd probably be a 1 year, 1-year deal coming off the injury this past year, but I think it's worth the risk that comes with it.
Totally agree. Just hope. I mean, the trade was nice. Still waiting. I think the free agent market this year, last year you could still find some really good options like a week or two in. This year on Tuesday, this year basically yesterday, almost all the market was gone. So, I mean, players are going fast.
Yeah, guys are moving pretty quick out there. It's that's why we were nervous, I think, yesterday and on Monday when the Jets were quiet, but they made you feel a little bit better, at least for me today. And if they get in on this wide receiver market, then I think we start to feel real good. That's the next step, I think, for the Jets.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I woke up this morning expecting to look at my phone and see 8,000 notifications that the Jets made some big move or the Jets re-signed someone big. And first thing I open my phone and I see a tweet from Rich Cimini recapping night 2 of free agency. Nothing.
Yep.
It's like, oh. But, if we're gonna go out and get a guy like Moses, take it. We gave up practically nothing for him. Personally, if I think about it that way. So, like you said, low risk, high reward. Like good with the Jets. Interested to see what he brings to the table.
Any predictions on if the Jets do anything else today or what's next for them?
I think they're gonna get a wide receiver. I think they're gonna get a wide receiver. I don't know if it'll be today though. Definitely a wide receiver though soon. I see.
Okay. I think that's the next move as well. That's what I'm hoping for. Connor, appreciate you hopping in. What content you got going on for the rest of this week?
So tonight at 7, I have my weekly show who's with this kid named Joseph, who's 13. He's a caller on Ryan's show. He is the host of the Battery Bros podcast. So I have that at 7. And then, just free agent content next few days. And trying to get some more guests. Had a good interview with Cimini. We got 2,600 people in at a point on Twitter, which was nice. So, just trying to free agency, trying to attack it.
Good stuff, Connor. I appreciate you hopping in. Have a good rest of your day and have a good show later.
You too. Thank you.
Good stuff from our guy, Connor. Got time for a few more questions and a few more refreshers before we hop out of here. It was a quiet 2.5 hours. We had a lot to talk about with Morstead and Moses and guys on the market. Calvin Ridley gets a massive, massive deal. But unfortunately, I wanted to hit the sounder.
Breaking news
for the New York Jets, and we haven't really been able to do it. That's annoying. What can you do? Samuel, I think that's a realistic option for them as well at this point. Curtis Samuel, someone that they really, really liked a few years ago. It felt like in 2021, they had some links to Curtis Samuel when he was leaving Carolina, signs with Washington, got hurt that first year, but the last 2 years he's been good. 656 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then 613 and 4 touchdowns. Basically the same season. Each of the last 2 years is kind of a chess piece. You can give him the ball. He's a better version of what Mecole Hardman was supposed to be in this offense. George says surprised Boyd hasn't signed with the Steelers yet. Yeah, that's where he's from originally, right? And I believe he mentioned that he'd like to play for Mike Tomlin at some point in his career. Yeah, he went to Pittsburgh and he grew up in Clarendon, Pennsylvania. So that's something that could absolutely happen. They just traded away Deontay Johnson. That feels like a perfect 1-for-1 swap. I like him on the Jets. I think he's going to get what I kept saying it, but 2 for 20 is going to be my prediction. The old-fashioned Applebee's. Bryce Huff tweeted the prayer emoji and 100 back. I miss you. I miss you already, Bryce Huff. Good Jet, underrated. No, it was for nothing. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you guys. I just hit it because I said I wanted the Jets to make me hit the sounder, and I hit the sounder. But it's been mostly quiet on the Western Front today. Steelers have a breaking news.
Breaking news!
They are bringing back an all-pro special teamer, Miles Killebrew, back to Pittsburgh on a 2-year, $6.5 million deal. Steelers get back last year's Pro Bowler with a deal close to the top of the special teams market. So something similar should be done for Justin Hardy, you would think, right? Isn't that what was his first contract with the Jets? It's probably, I think it was 2 for $6. Or 3 year, $6.75 million with the Jets. Okay, I take that back. So 675 divided by 3 is 2.25. Yeah, so give Hardy 2 for $6 million and get after, or just copy and paste it. Let's not make this more complicated than it has to be. Jamison Crowder re-signed with Washington, did he? I like Jamison Crowder as a Jet. Yeah, okay. Jacina Anderson reported it. Thank you for popping that out there. Jamison Crowder is re-signing on a 1-year deal per source. What did he do there last year? Not much. 16 catches, 159 yards. He had some solid years with the Jets, man. His first year, 833 yards, 6 touchdowns. The next year in 2020, 699 yards in 12 games, 6 touchdowns. 2021 had 447 yards and 2 touchdowns. Was not very productive that year. Played 12 games. 4 in Buffalo. Didn't do much. He's about done at this point in his career, but had a couple nights. I mean, his second year in the league, 847 and 7 touchdowns, 833 and 6 with the Jets in 2019 with Darnold. Good player. Wouldn't say Jets legends. I say that pretty loosely, but solid Jet. In all seriousness, solid Jet for 3 years. Amazing? No. Good player. Come on, give me something before we hop out of here, man. Ryan says, Matt, if you could pick one wide receiver, who's your guy? Also, would you draft Brock Bowers? If they could trade for, or not trade for, but if they could acquire a veteran left tackle, maybe via trade, but sign or trade for a left tackle, then that opens the door for me. One wide receiver, I think I would take the swing on Mike Williams, and then Tyler Boyd would be my second option, with KJ Osborne being my third option. Joe B says, everyone is talking about Harrison and Odunze, but I think Neighbors will be a nice fit next to Wilson. What about the Yak God, Malachi Corley, or Xavier Worthy? What are your thoughts? Neighbors would be. I don't think he makes it there. You're not wrong to say that, though. Neighbors would be really, really fun. Really fun. Xavier Worthy is incredibly fast. I worry about those guys. Anytime you see someone who's like runs in the low, I guess, low 4.2s, you're like, oh, this guy's a speedster. He's going to be great at the next level. And then they don't really do much. So Malachi Corley in like what, the 3rd, 4th round? Maybe that's the move. Come on, JD. Let's get a big one. That's what I'm hoping for as well. Harrison Smith restructured. That's so Minnesota frees up some room. I still can't believe the Jermaine Johnson smirk after the bag comment from DJ Reed. So I wonder if we're going to get a contract extension probably right when I log off. That's why I'm like trying to give it a couple seconds. I know we're coming up right on 6:30 right now, but I think that's going to be it for today. Unfortunately, guys, we couldn't get any signings during our stream today. 2.5 hours. We did pretty solid, though. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. We will be back with more coverage later tonight and tomorrow. I'm Matt. Catch you guys next time. Go Jets.